When it fills up, you're ready to go.
All right.
Or when the thing comes on, it means you're on.
Okay, when I see myself. All right, we are on. Okay, guys, I'm getting tutored so I can hopefully start doing this all by myself. I'm very much not technical savvy. But I wanted to do this because I think some significant things happen in the market today, and I just want to outline it to you guys. As you know, I put out I don't know, a couple of days ago, we said if there was ever a time to sell, this is it. And the reason being is we took out we broke the way I measure trends. We took out the 2-week low, and then we took out the previous week's high. Now, if you remember, I had scaled in orders there, and I only got a partial fill. Okay, I rarely enter position all at once. I worked my way into it, and that's what I did here. In an ideal world, it would have gone up where I wanted and then come back down. But Bitcoin's Bitcoin. So what we had here is I didn't want to miss that move, and so I sold it as soon as it peaked up there very lightly. I have a hard time adjusting to trading that small. So if I was really wise, I would have trimmed and covered at least 25% of that position. Once we made 200 or 300 points, which I think we made. I think we were up 300 or 400 points at one, at least maybe 400 points at one point in time. And then, of course, this morning we started strong. We found some really good support, and we just kind of rallied all day. And my number one thing that I teach you guys is we preserve our equity, which incidentally I just got one of the first slides that Victor's going to be doing, and the importance of this equity indicator and why it's going to, we're real excited about it. I think it's going to be just a dynamite useful tool. And if you're going on the cruise, you will get it free. So also today I made reservations at Hagera. So the cruise, you're off. Good. All right.
I called them actually, told them you're on your way.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So they knew I was on the way, and we've got reservations for 60 people. It's really my favorite restaurant in Ensenada. It has just fantastic menu and meat. They have probably just a great bone marrow. If you've never had bone marrow, it's they hand make the sauce and hand make the tortillas. It's just a great restaurant. It's right down there where the races are. So my cell phone was dead, or I would have tweeted and showed you the place, but we'll do that maybe when we come in on Saturday when we come into Ensenada. Okay, yeah, okay. Market sucks. Today sucks. They want to remove all the ones that are short before they're going down. Yeah, and that's pretty good. A pretty good way of looking at it. Gomez, I don't know how to pronounce it. Etienne?
Something like that.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's a pretty good way of looking at it. What they did is first of all, we stopped out all the longs with the move down, and of course we started filling our oats and thought we maybe had a winner, but they gave us enough. I didn't want to give it up, but if we go and look at this chart, what this is yeah, okay, we're gonna go to screen share. Oh, is that Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin Motorist on here?
Yeah, but you got to give it a minute.
Okay,
what's going on?
we're gonna go. Oh,
You can hear him, but you can't see his face right now.
okay.
So you go here.
Well, I'm going to go through the markets here, Bitcoin Motorist, and we can talk. That's what I'm on because of all the action that happened today.
Sure.
I wanted to get together with you anyway because I still want to line up with another speaker.
There we go.
Sure. I'm gonna be on here for as long as I can, but feel free to reach out to me. I'm available anytime for you if I can come on with you.
Okay, that'd be great because I want to kind of nail this down today. I mean, we got so much going on. No, I don't. You know what? I don't need to. I guess you got to go get my phone so I can log in. It won't let me just look at the market without logging in, will it? Nope. It's upstairs. So, any rate, so, well, I can probably go into, I'll go into Bitcoin wisdom. But I really want to outline this, guys, because this is a pretty significant day. Nothing's changed. And Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin wisdom.io, let's go there. And let's go look at, wow, it's breaking. All right, this is probably a major top, guys. And I just want to bring it out to you. The volatility, first of all, with this volatility, it's not indicative of a bottom, it's indicative of a top. And I would be very leery. We have these shit coins just, you know, shitting on everybody. And it's going to get really ugly, I'm afraid. You're going to see major exchanges going under because they all have an inventory of that crap. And, you know, just think if these things all go down to zero, you know, it could take Bitcoin with it. And if they all go down to zero or close to it, you know, Bitcoin could go down to $3,000 quite easily, which I said, I wasn't worried about that when it was at 3,000, but I am very concerned about it now. So there's just too much confusion. I'd say if we break from here, we either, you know, we're going to hold it right in here, 9 or 10,000, go up, or this could be a major top. And I kind of kicking myself. If you look at the way I positioned myself, if I was trading and on this thing, I would have doubled down and just stayed with my original orders. But because I am making this so public, I didn't, you know, I want to teach you guys that equity is the most important thing. Now, to sell more up there wasn't really a big thing for me because I had such a small position on it. I was actually going to double down at that area. But I was hoping to get it when it first went up there. And instead, what it did is gave us a little bit of breathing room. And and then we went up there. This is just a classic I don't know what to say. It's just a classic top, very, very toppy. And if we go and look at the daily chart, look at this. Now we're setting up for 2 days. We can, if we take these lows out, the next 2 days lows, we can break down. And you know what? We break down through this thing, and there's really nothing. I don't think there's much support down there. I know people think they can buy it. It's 9, 8, and all this, but I'd be real leery. You know, I would be, if I was short right now, I'd be real comfortable. Now you know where to put your stops. Look, let's go look at this weekly chart. This is the most important thing. Okay. Is this Bitstamp? I gotta move this over. Yeah. Okay, this is Bitstamp. We want to look at this. So guys, here it is. We took out, of course, the 2-week low. We rallied back above the 2-week high, and of course, I've sold it the first time it went up there. We got the breakdown. All we did was go back up there and exceeded it by a couple 100 or 200 points. And then I actually had some orders up there. If the deferreds had made a new high, I was the seller, but I missed. But if you remember the trade that I showed you, where I had those, and that was basically the whole plan, and that's what you have to do if you're not on this thing watching the market. And I should have just left those in there, but I knew some of you were following it going short. I didn't want you taking losses, but and I didn't want to take a loss, so I wound up getting stopped out. Picked up $50 on 2 Bitcoin. So I made a grand total of $100 in a week. But this thing, I mean, you got to look at these swings today. It's just, it is incredible. I mean, you started out at 10,400, and we went all the way up to 10,800. You had a 400 point move. And now, the problem with this is it could have just gone up and taken out the 2-week highs, but that's why I had priced orders up there that I should have just left there. What you do is you go ahead and you sell it up there, and your stop is that 2-week high, which is, let's go, we gotta go. Let's look at the 4 hour. I think it might give you a better look. Okay, which is up in here. I think that'd be your 2-week high. We never hit that, but boy, we sure gave it, so you had almost a risk-free trade in here. If you'd have sold this rally, but it takes iron balls, and we already had a winning position and didn't want to make it go into a loss. Today is one of these days, you wrecked all the longs in here, and then you wrecked all the shorts. You got a whole lot of people that got new rectums because they got wrecked, and they basically took it up the ass. So that's what you're trying to avoid. I mean, we were on the right side of the thing. It's a confusing market right now. It really is. But everything that I know in these markets is this thing's toppy, and it's probably going down, and it is negated now if we take out this high, or actually the highs we made today. This high that we put in today, that was the coup de grace as far as the bull market goes, if it's over. And I'm very, you just have to be really cautious right in here. And I haven't lost my very settlement. I almost jumped right back in. I got stopped out at 10,650, but I still would only, right now I'm only interested in playing this from the short side. But how you get in there and limit your risk is tough. I mean, I had it right, in originally, and the market volatility just kind of, that's what throws you for a loop, and you're going to miss moves. It looks like, I might have missed on this one, but part of it is, guys, trim. You get a thing like that. If I would have trimmed, then then I would have been, if I'd have trimmed anywhere here, and I just didn't, because I just thought there was a good chance we were going to break on down. We didn't. We came back up to where, my position, I think I sold it up in here before, so I didn't want to take the loss. Or would I sell it? Anyway, I guess I sold it up in here, and didn't want to take the loss, but we certainly had an opportunity to sell against that 2-week high again, and it gave you 2 chances to do it. If it goes up there again, it's probably going up. So I just wanted to do this special video to outline that. Okay, I can log into this other account. Where is this?
Just open a window.
Okay, we'll go to BitMEX. All right. Okay. Let's go look at BitMEX. There it is, 1583. So all that move up today was just food for all, not letting people get short. And log in here. Okay, I got to put in my 2-factor. Oops. All right. Looks like I got an Amazon picture. Good mouthwash. That's just what I need. All right. So that's the 4-hour. You can see what it did here. Let's go look at the 30-minute. Boom. Wow. All we had was this spike, and this spike, I sold that first time it went through the previous week's high, and my stop was up here originally. So what they managed to do, I got, a good, easy trade. I did not expect this rally. I didn't want it to run into a loss. But then when I saw and I actually did put some orders in there. I tried to sell the December, I think at 11, I was too high. I thought when let me go back to the minute. I'll show you what I was looking at. Okay, when we did this up here, and if you notice, the December and the September, they didn't really, they double topped and didn't spike, but the perpetual did. You had this spike, and so I thought that this, I didn't expect this to go up and make a new high, but I thought that December SEP did order. So I did have orders up there after I got stopped out to sell up in here, which I did not get. And then, boy, when that thing unwound, it unwound in a hurry. Now, you know what? Nothing's changed. Okay, after all that, I got to be bearish on this thing, but I also, I see. Here's the deal: what we are witnessing is the exit, and again, the exit, it's pronounced with a lisp and with a weak wrist, and it's to memorialize Vitalik Buterin, who gave us all this crap. And if this stuff, I mean, all you have to do is look at this stuff. It's all falling apart in relationship in dollars and in terms of Bitcoin. We got to get longer term than that. Let's go to the 4 hour. I mean, look at this is Cardano. Here's the B trash, and it got hit hard today. I noticed that. Here's your whoops. There's your B trash, and here's your EOS. Here's your Ethereum. Now let's go look at Ethereum in terms of dollars. Okay, but yeah, that's in terms of dollars, and here it is in terms of Bitcoin. It's even worse in terms of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Tron, Ripple. Okay, now this is going to have consequences, and it just is. Now, no, we don't know who the. Okay, one of the things that I've taught you is that large traders become small traders. This market's going to make some large traders small traders. Now, one that I suspect is going to be a lot smaller by the time this is over is Roger Ver, because if he believes the crap he puts out, he's got a lot of his B trash, and it's not Bitcoin. Now, I don't want to see the guy, ruined, but I also don't want him losing influence in the market is a blessing for Bitcoin, because he has been, basically Bitcoin Judas or a Bitcoin Pharisee. We're tired of even mentioning his name because of all the damage that he's done and continues to do. But a lot of this other stuff is happening too. You're going to see SEC crackdowns. You're going to see exchanges going under. You're going to see into the whole. Okay, the crypto world is going to have a crappy reputation, and that's why I don't want to be associated with it. I don't consider myself a part of the crypto world. I am a Bitcoin standard bearer, and I promote and defend Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. And it took, a good time for me to figure that out, as it takes everyone some time to do it. And one of the most, like I say, the best thing that we can all do to get people on the right direction is, first of all, just persuade them as best we can to stay out of all the alts and to stick with the Bitcoin standard. It makes life a lot simpler. Plus, it's just based on, it's sound thinking and sound money. But I wanted to outline this to you because let's go and look at this again. Let's go to the Bitcoin perpetual today because it was wild. Let's go to the 1 minute because that's the one that's always so fun to watch. Now, swing traders, this is a swing trader day, and I guarantee you there were some guys that really cleaned up today. I wanted to also take you, if you haven't looked at this, I wanted to show you I can't remember the name of go here. No, that's not it. Where is my, here. Okay, we're going to go to SKU. That's what I want to show you. If you haven't looked at SKU, you need to, because it's got so many good, interesting things on there. But what was really interesting today is the people we blew out. And what you want to look at is this BitMEX liquidations and today. And it's just incredible. Here we started out wiping out. First of all, we wiped out the shorts, and then we wiped out the longs. Okay, and that's when you start seeing things like this, then it's, you know, and you can't trade it by itself, but you certainly can look at it and say, wow, there's too much liquidation here. I should have been a lot more confident and just resold this thing, but hey, but again, I don't have time to trade right now with this conference. And there's other things on here, like they actually have there's open interest on here. I think on this, let's see, yeah, I think it's down here. Yeah, now the CME is not a very big exchange, but they are regulated, so they are giving you some more information on open. There's your total open interest and volume. I wish BitMEX would provide us open interest charts, because I think open interest is far more important than volume. Volume really doesn't mean that much, but open interest does. And here is the Chicago Merc, and they show they have to do a commitment of traders, and so they actually have reports on that. And there's another one on this, the leverage shorts and spreading. And these are reportable shorts and reportable longs. In other words, if you have a position over a certain size, you have to make a report that's available to the public. I'm not sure if it's available once a week. It used to be once a month, then once a week. It might be daily now. I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the new regulations. I still think in regulations of the 1970s. But it is something to look at. This is a really cool thing. It's called Skewer, sk3w.co. You know, SKU. Just look it up, and it's pretty cool. So let's get out of here. We'll go back to. No, I don't want to get out of stop. Let's go to the other one. Which I don't get. Where's the other? How do I go back to the? How to get rid of that thing? I want to go back to. Is that it? I can't see now. No. I guess I'll have to log back in. I want to go back to BitMEX.
I think you're logged out.
Okay, just go back into BitMEX. Okay, yeah, I don't have to log in. Now I don't have a position on, but this thing's just keeping on going down. Look at this. And this could turn into a train wreck. I mean, a real train wreck. This was a classic top, and that now you can actually see it actually formed into this shoulder head, and now you got the shoulder, and now we broke back down through it. So, you know, I think there's a good chance this market is toast. And now it's just a question of the magnitude of the toast. Now, I'm as bullish as ever on Bitcoin. And if we do go into a prolonged grinding bear market, it will provide those of you particularly, you know, who don't have your huddle, it will be a great time to huddle. And I don't know if this thing will just sharply go down there and then come back or what. But I've always thought that we have to take out the people. Let's go back here. Okay, let's go back to longer. Let's go to daily. Let's just go here. It's easier to use this big fit mix. There we go. All right, let's go to the daily. And I just think we have to take all these buyers in here out, okay? I just think that's almost a necessary prerequisite. Now, this was, you know, that testing the 2-week low, getting quiet back here, and then rallying. You can't rule out a bottom. You just can't, okay? But the likelihood is it's going to just break through this thing and take this, this stop and reverse out. In fact, if you go to this 30-minute stop and reverse, and again, you can almost fade it every time until you can't. Okay, this is the 30-minute. And you look here, we took out this and I like to fade it. So I was looking to sell it, but then you know what? This thing was, you know, I was afraid of this, but I was afraid it was going to keep on going. But we didn't, not only did we hit here, but now we were really broken down. If we don't find support in here and come back up, we've got some major problems. Okay. So I'm just going to be sitting on my hands because I got enough to do, but this is a very treacherous market today. I know that some swing traders that knew what they were doing. There's no doubt in my mind that the market was pushed today, that there are professional traders in there that were searching for stops, and they got them. And once they finally got them, again, they got mine, but I sold it very right, so I didn't get. I mean, I still made money on the deal. But if I was looking for this peak to be in here, and we didn't get it, and I was short, I suffered through all this, got a nice profit, and took it all away. Should have doubled down in here. That was my original plan, but they let me have a little taste of victory, and I didn't want to give any of it back because I don't like it. And again, the way I'm teaching you guys, it's made me a more responsible trader because I'm not going to do things that are beyond beginning trading. And in this case, I mean, you saw where I wanted the levels where I wanted to sell, but how it did it and how it got there. Now, if we take out this 2-week low, and remember this 2-week low, I don't look at it as the 2-week low is really here. Another thing I want to show you guys, I'm going to go to trading view. Now, this 2-week low is really right in here now. So this 2-week low is 94.67. If we go down through here and hit down there again, we can have some major problems, and it could be, and that's my major concern. And people have not understood how violent these things can go down and how far they can go down when they start, and that's how you get wiped out. I'm going to go in to look at I live in Mexico, so I noticed one thing today that in the peso, I go trading view account. Okay, this is on the Zezo exchange, which is a very good exchange, and I use it, but you can't use it, I don't think, if you're a U.S. citizen. You have to be a resident of Mexico or a citizen of Mexico. So let's go here. Incidentally, I do have tones sequential automatically on here, and I do recommend that you purchase that from them. It's a great little tool. One more thing to add to your arsenal, but I want to go to the weekly. Why isn't that like me? Okay. All right. I want you to look at this weekly because it is a little bit different. The Mexican peso never took out the 2-week low. It came down here and it actually rallied here. And so by the same token, it didn't rally as much now as we did today in the US dollar. So usually it's more volatile, but here it's less volatile. And so I don't know that it means that much of anything. I'm just saying that Bitcoin, you know, it's priced in dollars, so you can't really look at it in pesos. And I looked at the euro because the number 2 currency in the world is the euro, and Bitcoin is traded in euros, and it did take out the 2-week low on euros. But this is Bitso and the Mexican peso. It never, in other words, if we followed and got long, bought here as it took out the previous week's low, we would still be long, and never would have got bearish. Okay, so you know, we're right. You know, they always say the market is right where it should be, always, and that's kind of where I see it right now. I mean, I wish we'd have taken out that contract high in Bitcoin somewhere along the line. But since we didn't, you know, we can still go up there, and this could be a very firm move. But it's just, look, the underlying fundamental is not Bitcoin, it's the tsunami of paper that we have. That's the fundamental. And so we just, Bitcoin is it's so much, it is a challenge to trade. You guys, if you turning your trading around, you earned it. You really earned it. The mark, and I want to distinguish the mark here. A lot of people are looking at this market as the same place that we were at 6,000 before we broke down to 3,000. And I see that, and you've got, you look at, you know, the Coinbase is drawn a triangle in there, ascending or descending triangle. And I get it. I understand that. There's a big difference now between the market now and the one that we had also at, for example, when I was bullish and we were at 3,500, the market was not volatile. And now it is volatile. Now, it's not, you know, it's going to be very surprising if we can go into a major bull market. But, you know, if it takes out the 2-week high, I got no choice but to ride with it. So anyway, I wanted to get on because I thought today to me was a very, it's not a bullish move at all. Today could be a major, it could be the last hurrah for Bitcoin for a while, a good while. And so the action was very, very toppy. The action was we took out the buyers, and then we took out the sellers. And now we're at square one, and we could just have, the question is, will it be a long declining, grinding bear market, or will it be one of those things where we flash down in sympathy with these alts and the catastrophes that are going to be happening in the crypto world, and what kind of effect that's going to have on Bitcoin? It's only going to have a short-term effect, but that doesn't make any difference. It's a real equity. So you have to get, guys, you got to be willing in the back of your mind, you got to say, hey, am I okay if Bitcoin goes back down to $3,000 or even under 3,000? And you got to have that ingrained, because that's how hard things are. And the whole thing is, we want to dollar cost average. We want to build on that huddle. And if we get a chance, go back and reread. I made a correction on that article on hedging your huddle. And basically, I showed you there that by hedging and by, for example, if I probably just should have stayed short those 2 Bitcoins to show you in the event that it happens, but by just selling a part of your HODL, and I've sold a good chunk of the Bitcoin I've made. I've HODLed some and I've sold some and got other assets, okay? But you don't have to do that. You can also do that by hedging in the marketplace. And the example I gave was you can hedge 10%. If you have a 10 Bitcoin HODL, which is a little over $100,000 now, and you just hedge 20% of that, that's it, hedge 2 Bitcoin. And if the market doubles in price, you're gonna still make out like a gangbuster, because you're gonna be you'll have 1 less Bitcoin, but Bitcoin doubled in price. So your 100,000 is now over 200,000. By the same token, where it really gives you the protection is if this thing goes down, and let's say goes down from here at 11,000 or 10,000 down to 3,000. Well, you pick up $7,000 per Bitcoin. You just sell 2 of them, okay? That's $14,000. But remember, then Bitcoin would be at 3,000. So that's going to be what? 14,000 divided by 3 would be about a little over 4.5 Bitcoin. So now instead of having your 10 Bitcoin, you have 14.5. So now when it goes up and make all-time highs, you have 50% more Bitcoin than what you have now. So hedging is what you have to do. You have to trade this thing one way or another to increase your HODL. And you don't have to worry about increasing your HODL as long as Bitcoin's going up. But when Bitcoin goes down, then you wish that you had sold some. And that's what you can do. And the other advantage of using the futures is the top tax consequences are less, because if you lose, there is no tax, of course, and you can apply it against other gains. And if you do take a profit out of the market, you're only paying for that profit. It's not because you have a short-term gain. You're not selling the Bitcoin, and you're not selling Bitcoin that you maybe purchased at $100 and for 10,000, where you have to pay, a capital gain on that amount. So there are, but you need. I'm not a tax advisor. You guys have to have your own accountant. But there are, you can use hedging strategies to improve your tax position. Okay, let me go look at the market. Market sucks today. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, the reason I didn't go back in today, because I've just been, I don't have time to trade, guys. Doing this cruise and conferences, it's taking a toll, and there's a lot to do. And I just mainly, I didn't have any. I tried to resell it. Once we blew out on the upside. If we'd have gone up there one more time, I had some orders up there. I didn't get them. I should have just, I should have just sold it. I should have just looked at where those old orders were, because I think it was 11,040 or something, 11,007 or something. I had some in December over 11,000, and I pulled them once I got stopped out, and I should. That was silly. Yeah, you can short now. You can, it's just, I'm not trading right now, so I'm out. Guys, I'm teaching you to protect your equity. That's the #1 thing. So don't get into this thinking that if and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, because you're going to go crazy if you do that. You know, yeah, exactly, you can do that. But there was a great video that Tone did with this guy named DJ Thistle, and he actually, you know, he outlined, he says, look, my trading changes with my life, because sometimes I have time to trade and sometimes I don't. And the position that I put on was really kind of a position trade. I should have just left it there, got the fill and forgot about it. But it's, you know, I am a trader, so that's a difficult thing for me to do. And we did have a profit. I didn't, you know, I just don't want to give up that equity. I've got 2 Bitcoin in there, and I want to run it back up to 30 again, and you know, show you guys how to do it. The thing is, I didn't get hurt, and hopefully you didn't either. And you know, yeah, you can jump right in and sell it again, which I probably should have, but you know what? After I got stopped out, I had to, you know, I had to go make reservations for the cruise for the here in Ensenada. After the race, I had to, you know, pick up my daughter from school. I had to go pay for school. I had to do all these other things, and so, you know, I just I said, look, I don't need the headache right now. I can't. You know, if you want to trade, you need to have the time to do it, and I don't right now. So more about trimming and okay, trimming and pyramiding. Okay, here's what number one, I never established the position I wanted to have on. Okay, I really wanted to have on 2 or 3 times. I only had 20,000 short. I really wanted to have 40,000, maybe 50 or $60,000 short in Bitcoin. I had the orders in there scaled in. Now, if I'd have just left them in there, I would have eventually gotten filled on all of them. Okay, I didn't, because the market started going my way, and because you guys are following me, I didn't want to run into a loss. I made the mistake, and again, you guys are going to learn more from my mistakes than from my successes. So, I mean, one mistake that, you know, you should have all learned is, if you're taking a vacation and you're not going to trade, take your vacation and don't trade. I didn't do that. Okay. When I came back, I kind of feel like, well, I need to, you know, help you guys out. And then I did see the setup coming for the short trade. And so I tweeted that out. I said, look, if there's ever a time to go short, this is it. And it's still there on the table. You know, we didn't take out the 2-week high. We took out the previous week's high. It gave you the perfect place to sell it with a very limited risk. You know, the problem is it went our way, and I didn't want to give it up. And so, you know, we got stopped out, and, you know, I'm caught up in other things and just didn't jump back in. So as far as pyramiding, if you pyramid, you want to make sure the pyramid has a sound foundation. I actually did sell another contract short, because I only went with 20,000 Bitcoin short. And right up there, I think it said the first time it went up there to 1671, I sold it up there. And I kind of figured, you know, this thing, it should stop in here. And it didn't. It's acted strong. So I said, you know what? I don't want to mess with it. I'll just cover that. And I broke even on the trade. And then when the market broke down a little bit, I said, you know what? I don't want to mess with this thing. I got things to do today. So I put in my stops and got stopped out, because I didn't want to take a loss. But the pyramid was proper in that first of all, you only want to add to a winner. Now, I made a big mistake, because once I had that position, I should have treated it as that's my position, and I should have trimmed a little bit. If I'd have trimmed a little bit, then I wouldn't have been worried about, you know, letting everything go into a loss. and the market went back up there, I could have sold it again and left my other orders in there, you know. But again, I was going to go out today. I had running around to do. I wasn't going to be in the market, and you know, I didn't really want to put on a trade and then see it, you know, pop up through those 2-week highs. I mean, I could have just put in the orders to sell and put the stops in, but I usually don't trade that way because I do know that the market's gunning for stops, and so you don't want to reveal your hand if possible, particularly if you're a large trader. I mean, when I was doing, if you're a big trader, you can't put those in there because they're gonna get them, and that's why you see those wrecks. And it's just a phenomena. It's not because the exchanges are doing anything funny or they're releasing data to people that they shouldn't have. It's always been the nature of the marketplace. So I rarely use stops unless I can't be around the market, at least, you know, hard stops. I always use mental stops and I use equity stops. So when you pyramid, you always want to have a solid base. And then normally you only add to that pyramid as the position starts working. Now, my difficulty was I didn't get my entire position on. I only got about a fourth or a third of what I wanted, you know. And so I had a little position and started working. And I should have just treated it as a regular position, but I didn't. I said, well, that's so little, I'm not going to worry about it, which was a mistake. In other words, what I had on, I should have traded just like it was, you know, I was trading with 40 Bitcoin. So, and so that's an adjustment to me. If I had trimmed, then I wouldn't even worried about the stops, or I'd have put the stop above that 2-week high, and I would have probably left those resting orders in there in case we went out there and tested that previous week's high again, which is exactly what we did. We blew everybody out, and then we started down. And I don't know, we continuing down now. I don't know, but let's go see. Let's see. How do I get into the screen share? Here? Oh, here? All right. This one? All right. Next one. No share? Okay. All right, let's get out of here and go to, let's go back to, BitMEX. Okay. All right. There'll be plenty of trades. I mean, and like I say, if we are going up, then we're going to stay in this kind of swing trading market. So that's the other reason. Tom Bates is a big believer in, this is a neutral area. You just don't do anything until, you get a confirmation it's going down. I tend not to be that way. I like to have a position on and then be right on that position. And then that's where I would maybe pyramid. In other words, if I got my short, which I had a par on, I was planning on adding to the short. But only after it, I had a decent profit. But it had to stay below that two-week low, which it didn't. It rallied up above it and went above the previous week's high, and so it would have to go down before I would consider doing that. So anyway, well, I'm kind of done. I don't know that is big. All right. Anybody else got a question? Okay, we're going to be going on the Ensenada cruise this weekend, just so we can be better prepared for the conference and know what's going on board ships, what equipment they have, and that kind of thing for presentations. I did see, again, I saw Victor one slide that he's doing with this equity sequential that we're working on. And anyway, I popped on today just because I'm number one, I want to learn how to do this on my own. But number two, I do think today was a critical day. I do think that, you know, all they did was go up there and test that previous week's high again. If we're going down, we made our top today.
Go last one.
No. Do I think it's invalidated if we go to the, no? It would be invalidated well long before that. So, I mean, I don't have any problem turning around and getting bullish again. Structurally, I don't like it because I don't like the volatility. It's not indicative of a bottom. I don't like the market structure where there's such a premium on the futures. And I also just think that this thing, there's strong hands, that the shorts are strong hands, and the speculators in this thing, they're just, you know, they're weak. And they're weak if they're in the futures. They're not weak if they're, you know, if they're hodling. And there's probably better ways to be buying Bitcoin or even speculating than fundamentally than on BitMEX, because I think that could be arbitraging and using, you really want to use BitMEX as a place to go short, because you can capture those premiums and you can also get the funding. So structurally, I don't like this market. I measure this. It's completely arbitrary. There's no magic to it or anything like that. It's just a measure that I use, and it can bite you if the market just is a swinging market, has no direction. But the way I define the trend is the 2-week high and the 2-week low, and so that's just my guide. It doesn't mean that I buy it when it takes out the 2-week high or sell it when it takes a 2-week low. You know, if you notice me, I do like to sell rallies. I like to buy dips, and hopefully we do it where there's a reasonable risk. There was a very reasonable risk on this trade, and it just was a question of, you know, yeah, but if I was long, it's usually a slower process. And so if I was long, it usually gives you more chances to get in. A top is very difficult to catch, and because they tend to spike, and then when they break hard. But boy, this one was pretty typical, and I am kind of kicking myself a little bit because I didn't jump back in short. But I wanted to give you a heads up, because I just say, hey, I'm stopping. And I just felt like I owed you guys that, because, you know, it got me short. I didn't want to take a loss, so I stopped out. You know, it looks like if we can pop up, and if we do pop up, we don't know how high that thing's going to go. If it is shot through the 2-week highs, I'd be telling you right now, I'm bullish. Okay, but we didn't. We just went up there and ran through the stops, and then we broke this baby. And so we caught a whole lot of people that were short and clean their whistle. And before we did that, all the longs, they had to suffer through. Now the question is, you know, I don't think that you stopped out a lot of speculative longs, because I happen to know that there's a bunch of speculative longs that think this thing's not going down, and they've been long, and they were bragging about themselves today because they stayed long. I wonder if they're going to be bragging about that in another few weeks. Because there's still serious problems in this market, and there just are. And if this thing, if it starts down from here, it can get really ugly. I mean, really ugly. And it's not going to be based on Bitcoin. Okay. Look, they can't get your Bitcoin. Okay. But they can get you. And that's where this is going. There's going to be huge ramifications for this crypto world crap. And it's going to have an effect on Bitcoin. Now, maybe Bitcoin's just going to shrug it off, say, no, we're in Bitcoin's king, without a doubt. But it can still have a huge psychological effect on the market. And we don't know if it will be a short duration or a long duration. So, you know, that's all I'm concerned about. So again, the techniques I teach you, I taught you the technical. The technical is we sold that thing one above the previous week's high. I taught you trimming. If you trim, you had no reason to get afraid. It never violated any of the reasons we got into the market. All we did today was go up, back up there, run through those stops, took it up another 100, I don't know, 200 points up to December over 11,000, which just provided another wonderful hedging opportunity for producers to hedge their December production. So, and so you've got the same situation, the buyers today, or the ones that were long coming into today, and they felt great today, particularly if they're position traders and think Bitcoin's going up to 100,000 this year. And there's people that think that. And hey, I'm not saying it won't happen. This thing, the fundamentals is, you know, the dollar tsunami. So I never mocked Tyler Jenks when he said 1,000. He put a low 1,000 and a high at 10 million on it. And that's what this Bitcoin thing is all about. If it's the new money, like and I think it's more than the new money, and that's what I'm running on now. It's actually freedom. It's free speech. It's text, and it's secure text. Look, every other platform I can be taken off of, but I can't be taken off of Bitcoin as long as I have those keys. I can be taken off of Twitter. I can be taken off of YouTube, Medium, okay? And my server can be seized and the government can shut down my website, okay? But they can't shut down Bitcoin. And that's the value in it, guys. That's the value. So you just, and the enemies of Bitcoin are going to do their best to shut it down. And if they can't shut it down, the only other way that they can have an effect is to come after you. And of course, that's what we have to be on guard about. And all we can do is live our lives, you know, in a morally correct manner and have integrity. And yes, some of us will probably be victims, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin isn't worth defending. It certainly is. So anyway, I don't think, again, to me, it's real simple. If we're going down, we made the top today. We shouldn't go back up there. And so you've got something to sell against. And if we, I would not want to be selling it short if it goes up there again. Because we've had two chances and they give us a third. It's not going to be one you want to be selling. I hope this helps. Thank you, Eddie, for putting me on here. And the next time I do this, well, I might get one more in today. I don't know. But next time I do this, I'll be on board the cruise ship, and hopefully I'll be able to live stream from there. And I'll be tweeting out, you know, about the cruise. And we still have conference tickets, guys. So don't hesitate to sign up. If people that sign up for the cruise, they will get a lifetime membership for signing up for the cruise. And I'll keep that other offer too. If you guys want to come, even at the last minute, I'll give you a lifetime membership that you can give to a friend, or a family member. And again, the benefit, there really isn't, for most people, they can get all they need from the Medium articles. Once they start trading, then they might want to get, this. And today was a wild day. I mean, and hope you guys did well. And we did, look, the equity stayed there. I missed the move, and you're gonna miss them. And but we don't kick ourselves for missing them. We said, you know what, I can still play the game. I'm no harm done, and better luck next time. So we'll go from there. And I guess I'll end this meeting. Let me end it with a hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, save, save. Build it, build it, build it. Sound money. Sound money. All right, we'll see you.